Hello guys, I hope you all are doing good. I am Vaishali Kikan and we are discussing the VLSI technology. In that we are discussing the process integration, and today in this video we are moving forward towards a very important topic, that is the transistor making. Transistors are very important component of the IC because these are going to give the particular functionality to the given chip. Right, so making transistor is a very important process, or I can say it is the most important process in the chip fabrication. So now which all topics we are going to discuss? We are going to talk about the metal gate, the self-aligned gate, the lightly doped drain or LDD, then the threshold adjustment, the anti-punch through, the metal and high dielectric gate MOS, right? So all of these are really important topic, and I hope you all are giving your utmost attention to watch this video, because this is required and highly required for this video because it's a very important topic, right? So first of all we are going to talk about the metal gate. So whenever I want to make the metal gate, first of all there is a prerequisite. What is the prerequisite? That we need to form the source and drain first, then only I will be moving towards the metal gate formation. So first I will be forming the source and drain. How I will be forming the source and drain? I will be using a masking step. How I make the mask? With the help of photolithography process, right? So after making the mask I will be doing the diffusion doping, which we all know, right? So this is how we will be making the source and drain. After that we have to align the gate with the source and drain that we had already made. So then gate area was etched and the gate oxide is grown, right? Then we will be using a third mask. The third mask defines the contact holes, right? And then we will be using the fourth mask, which is going to form the metal gate and all of the metallic interconnections, right? Then we will be using the last mask that defines the bonding pad. This is how we will be making the transistors on the given chip. So you can see, first of all I have the wafer cleaning. So first of all there is this wafer, which is the N type of silicon wafer, and there we will be having some native oxide present on the wafer. First of all I will be doing the cleaning process. So okay, first wafer cleaning process would be there. After that I will be moving towards the field oxidation, and after the field oxidation I will be having a growth area of SiO2. So a layer of SiO2 would be present over the N type of silicon. So now some of you must be having this doubt that if I had native oxide, then why I increased 2 steps? Because the native oxide was not in the desired thickness. So first of all I will be removing it, plus the composition was also not desired, right? So first of all this native oxide is removed, and after that the chip is cleaned, and after that we will be again going towards the oxidation phase, which is called the field oxidation, right? After that we will be having the photoresist coating phase, right? So now this is the photoresist coating. So now this is the silicon chip that we have. After that we have the oxide layer, and over that we have the photoresist coating. Now after that we will be using the photolithography process, and then we are going to oxide etch. So here in the photoresist we will be using a mask. So this is the mask that we have. So here I want to change the characteristics. So this is the black painted area. So this is just a glass. On the glass I have a black painted area, and I have placed the glass over this photoresist. This is called the alignment. In the alignment I am aligning the glass at the proper location where I want my source and the drain. After the alignment I am going to the exposure phase, where I am going to expose this photoresist with the UV light, and you can see wherever the UV light is present the photoresist is becoming harder, and this is how we are going to etch out the softer layer of the photoresist. So here and here the photoresist is etched out, and here you can see we have the exposed SiO2 layer, right? So now I will be going to the development phase, and where I will be removing the SiO2 layer underneath it, right? So here you can see now I have a exposed N type of silicon layer in this particular mask only, right? So now here after that we are going towards the source and drain doping, and then we will be having the gate oxidation. So you can see, first of all I will be doping this layer with the P type of element or ions. So for the p type of ion I can use the boron ions, and I can use the diffusion process, so that here I will be forming the p type of source and drain region. Right after that I will be going towards the field oxidation step, so that here this mask has been again filled up with the help of oxide. After that again I will be going towards the photolithography phase, and here I will be removing the SiO2 layer with the help of photolithography process. Right after that we will be moving towards the gate oxidation. Gate oxidation is a simple oxidation that we have already discussed. So it's the same kind of oxidation that we have done in the field oxidation, but the thickness should be less. Okay, so this gate oxide is very thin as compared to the field oxide layer. Right after that we are going to form the contacts. Right, so you can see after that we are forming the metallization. So here we are using the aluminium silicon alloy for the metallization, and after that we are going to form the passivation layer. For the passivation we can use a cap oxide layer. Right, so at a particular location I have done the metallization, and I have etched out the metal at the location I don't want it. So now this is how I can make the connections with source, drain and gate, and after that I can have the layer of the passivation, that is the cap oxide layer. So we can deposit it with the chemical vapor deposition. So I hope you understood the full process. Now coming to the self-aligned gate. So now there is a big problem that we are making the source and drain first, and then we have to align the gate at a proper location in between source and drain. If it is misaligned, then the functioning of the transistor would be malfunctioned. We cannot get the proper functioning of the transistor if there is not proper alignment of the source and the drain. And as we are moving towards lower and lower feature sizes, then the alignment would be very difficult. Right, so aligning gate with a very small size of source and drain is a very big issue. So what we use self-aligned gate. So here we are going towards the ion implantation. Instead of diffusion we are moving towards the ion implantation here, and now we are using the NMOS instead of PMOS. Right, I told you in the history that firstly we were using the PMOS, but then we moved towards the NMOS. One reason was the high speed associated with the NMOS, and the second reason is that we can have the ion implantation for the NMOS, and we can have the self-aligned gate with the NMOS. Now here also aluminium was used for the metallization of the gate, but now here the polysilicon replaced the aluminium for the gate. So here aluminium alloy can't sustain the high temperature for the post implantation annealing. So here I am using the ion implantation, and after ion implantation I have to do the annealing. Right, so annealing will be making the single crystal structure again, and for that I require higher temperature. But if I am using the aluminium, so in that case what will happen? Aluminium will get melt down. I will not be having the metallization of the gate, and for this reason I can use the polysilicon, which is having high melting temperature as compared to the aluminium. Although conductivity is less, but it can be tolerated, but because we are moving towards the smaller and smaller feature size. Right, so the advantages are more, disadvantages is less, so we can replace the aluminium with the polysilicon. So now the activation area would be decided for the transistor making, and the gate oxidation and the polysilicon deposition would be done first. Right, so first of all I am going to make the gate mask, which defines the location of the gate as well as the location of the local interconnections. After that we are going to make the transistors with the help of ion implantation, and at last I am going to do the thermal annealing. Right, so advanced MOSFETs are made in this manner only. Right, because here we can move towards a smaller feature size and there would be no problem of alignment. Right, so you can see here first of all I had made the polysilicon gate, and after that I can use the ion implantation to dope n type of ions inside the p type of silicon, so as to make the NMOS type of structure. Right, so you can see here this polysilicon gate is going to stop the phosphorus ions to penetrate at this location, and this is how here I will not be having n type of region. Right, so coming to the hot electron effect. So now whenever I have the gate width which is lesser than 2 microns, when I am going to move towards lesser and lesser feature size, Now when I am going to supply the vertical electric field, it is going to accelerate the electron tunneling through the thin gate oxide layer, right? So the tunneling effect would be more and it would be accelerated through the thin gate oxide layer, right? Because I have not used a very thick layer of the gate oxide, the gate width is only lesser than 2 microns. So what happens? Gate leakage will be affecting the transistor performance, right? And there would be trapping of electrons in the gate oxide and it caused the reliability problems for the given IC chips, right? So this is called the hot electron effect when I have the gate width which is very less, which is lesser than 2 microns, and this is how we will be having the tunneling, and because of the tunneling we will be having the leakage current and it is called the gate leakage effect. Okay, so here I can say LDD is used to prevent the hot electron effect, and from here only the concept of lightly doped drain came, right? So what is the hot electron effect? So here you can see this is my gate oxide, this is the gate oxide layer, right? This is my source and this is my drain, right? So now here this electrons is going to inject in the polysilicon right here, and whenever I am going to supply VG which is greater than the threshold voltage, right, and also the VD is greater than 0, then the electrons are going to penetrate into the polysilicon layer. So here I will be using the low energy, low current ion implantation, right? So why I am using the low energy, low current ion implantation? Because I want low dopant concentration as well as I want shallow junction, right? I don't want very deep junction, but I want a shallow junction. For that I can use the low energy, low current ion implantation. So I want very low dopant concentration and the shallow junction that is just extended underneath the gate. Okay, so sidewall spacers can be formed by the deposition and etching back the dielectric layers. So okay, we can use the deposition and then we can etch back the extra layers for the sidewall spacer formation. Now high current and low energy ion implantation forms the heavily doped source and drain, and source and drain are kept apart from the gate. So now what we will be doing for the formation of the lightly doped drain, we are going to reduce the vertical electric field of the source or drain bias. We are going to reduce the available electrons for the tunneling also. It is going to suppress the hot electron effect, and this is how whenever we are moving towards the lightly doped drain, it is going to give various advantages to me. So now coming to the structure, first of all we are going to have the polysilicon etching, then we are going to strip off the photoresist, and after that we are going to have the polysilicon annealing. So this is how we will be forming the polysilicon gate, right? So you can see after that we are going to the lightly doped drain implantation. So you can see here with the help of ion implantation with low energy, low current, we have formed the N- region over here, right? This is the N- region over here. After that we are going to have the nitride deposition. So silicon nitride layer is deposited. So this is the silicon nitride layer above the polysilicon gate as well as the source as well as the drain. After that we are going to the nitride etchback. So here if I have removed the nitride from the upside as well as from here above the source and drain, so here you can see we had formed the sidewall spacer, right? So you can see after that we can have the source and drain implantation. With the help of high temperature we can have here the source and drain implantation, and you can see at this position we will be having the lightly doped drain, but at this position we will be having a highly doped source and highly doped drain. So you can see at this position I can remove the hot tunneling effect with the help of the lightly doped drain. So for the N+ formation we are using the high energy, high current ion implantation, so which will be forming the high concentration of N region inside this P type of silicon. So you can see after that we are going to have the implantation annealing with the help of high temperature. So now coming to the dopant diffusion buffer. So what is this? So whenever I have the feature size 0.18 micrometer and that voltage is lesser than 1.5 volt, then the hot electron effect may not be so important anymore, because here the voltage is less. The lightly doped drain implantation process is not needed because the hot electron effect is not there. So the tunneling process would not be there. So the lightly doped drain implantation process is no longer needed, but I still need the sidewall spacer to provide a diffusion buffer for the dopant in the source or drain region, right? So that I will not be having the diffusion of the dopants inside the source and drain junction. So you can see dopant diffusion buffer, how I have made the sidewall spacer, right? So this is how the sidewall spacer is going to prevent the diffusion. So here you can see we have the polysilicon gate. So you can see after annealing, source and drain are just right. So here you can see before annealing, you can see the source and drain are not attached to the gate. You can see here, if I am going to give the high temperature, the depth as well as the lateral width of this doped region is going to increase. You can see the depth has increased, the lateral width has also increased for the source or the drain region, and this is how we have formed the connection with the gate. Okay, so this is how I can see the alignment would be matched with the source and drain and the gate, right? So you can see after annealing, if I have before sidewall spacer, if I have placed the source and drain, right, and if I do the annealing, so you can see source and drain would be too close, right? So it is not perfectly aligned. So this is the reason I am using the sidewall spacer before the ion implantation. So whenever I have the sidewall spacer before the ion implantation, after thermal annealing, the alignment would be perfect. But if I am not using the sidewall spacer, the source and drain may come too close and it would going to affect the functionality of the given chip. So now coming to the VT adjustment implantation. What is it? The threshold voltage adjustment implantation. Now threshold voltage is a very important parameter that controls a lot of parameters inside or the functionality of the MOSFET. So the controlling of the threshold of the MOSFET is very important to ensure the supply voltage can turn on or turn off the MOSFET in the IC chip. So I need to know at which voltage my MOSFET is going to turn on, at which voltage my MOSFET is going to turn off. So to ensure that, I have to adjust the VT, right? I have to check at which VT or the threshold voltage my MOSFET is going to turn on or it is going to turn off. So here I will be using the low energy, low current implantation, and it is done usually before the gate oxide growth. Here I will be using the two implantation, P-type as well as N-type implantation. So you can see here, first of all I have made the shallow trench isolation, right? After that we are going to clean the wafer, then we are going to have a very thin sacrificial oxide layer growth. After that we will be having the activation mask. With the help of photolithography process, I will be making a mask over here. This is the photoresist over here. After that we are going to strip off the photoresist at the particular location. So here you can see at this point the photoresist is removed, and after that I am going to do the implantation, that is the threshold voltage implantation. With the help of threshold adjustment implantation, I will be having the VT adjust penetration area over here, and after that I am going to strip off the photoresist and then I am going to anneal it so that the VT adjust doped area is going to increase in the width, right? So it is going to increase in the depth as well as width. So after that I am going to strip off the sacrificial oxide layer. So now coming to the anti-punch through implantation. So what is the punch through effect? First of all, we should understand the punch through effect. So the depletion region of the source and the drain short each other under the influence of both gate substrate bias and the source drain bias, right? So whenever I have the gate substrate bias and the source drain bias, then I have the source and drain which are going to short with each other. Now what we want to do, we want to do the anti-punch through to avoid this shorting effect. With the help of medium energy low current implantation, I can do the anti-punch through implantation. It is going to protect the transistor against the punch through effect that I have already told you, because if I have shorted source and drain, the functionality is going to highly affect with the help of this effect. So now we are normally performing it with the well implantation only. So you can see how we are doing the anti-punch through implantation. So you can see this is the photoresist over here, this is the photoresist over here, this is the N-well. So with the help of medium energy and the low current ion implantation, I can have this anti-punch through region inside the N-well. So now coming to the halo implantation. So halo implantation is the another implantation process which is commonly used to suppress the punch through effect that we have. So here I am using the low energy and the low current implantation, and here I will be having the larger incident angle than the 45 degree. So you can see when I have the larger incident angle than the 45 degree, so here you can see we are forming the halo junction over here. So this is used for the VT adjustment, right? So here below the N plus region of source or drain, I will be having this halo junction. So I hope you understand each one of these things in detail. So these are the references which are very amazing book, and you can refer these books for your further studies as well. And if you find any difficulty in any of the topic while reading, you can put the doubt in the comment and I will be trying to resolve your doubt as soon as possible. I hope you like this session. If you like it, please push the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also do share it with your friends. Thank you so much.